All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, the elder bishops, the great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word, truth, and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say Shalom. My name is Ahmawan Ahyash. I'm back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this is edifying. This breaking news that happened earlier today. Just want to report on it. As the watchman, as the spiritual weatherman. Speaking on the times that are at hand. Just want to give my spiritual 2 cents on what happened earlier today. This article I have here from AP News. Charlie Kirk, who is sort of well known as someone for his stance against the so-called woke culture. A lot of people look at him as someone who spoke up against some of the more what you will call progressive mind state, the progressive state of the world, especially here in America, Babylon the Great. He was known for kind of more standing up for more of the core values of, I guess you would say, the average Christian. So he was one that spoke up against, abortion and things of that nature, wanting to keep families together, households, more traditional things of that nature. Was, if we're being honest, a lot of what he spoke about kind of brought common sense back to the forefront, to a degree, because, if we're being honest about this society and where it's at, things have gotten so far gone. This place is so, this is why Babylon the Great is known as the land of confusion, because this place is so far gone from reality or anything righteous or anything real or normal. There has to be some level, some kind of balance to, the radical sort of way of this world, man, because everything is just out of hand, outlandish. Everything is when I say pro-choice, I mean just from the perspective that people want the ability to do what they want when they want, have a freedom of choice, more so than pro-life is what I mean. Freedom of choice. If I'm a young boy and I want to change that, I can do that. If, I'm a female and I decide that I want to divorce my husband for whatever reason, and a lot of times, a lot of selfish reasons, then I shouldn't need to be judged by it. That core value, that core family value is not at the forefront of a lot of these women and their mind frame and their mentality. It's a very selfish, self-centered way of living their lives. And, he was one who was against that. And not to really even speak necessarily highly of this guy, because he seems to be an Edomite, right? He's a big time Trump supporter, right? MAGA guy. And, at the end of the day, the Lord, this is a judgment from Yahweh Shai. I'm only speaking the way I'm speaking according to, just to kind of give those who see his video an opportunity to understand his position and what a lot of his speech and his rhetoric was about. He's very pro-American, very patriotic, which anybody who's so pro-America, given its history, given its works, and the evil that the so-called founding fathers of America have had their pattern of works, being pro-America. If you ride with America, you're gonna go down with America. And if you've seen the video of the actual event that took place with him and how he was assassinated, man, again, that's just judgment from Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. There's really no other way to put it, to place it, to describe it, to break it down, to analyze it. It just is what it is. And we're not in a time where we initially when you see something like that, to the naked eye, man, you just go, wow. That's because, that's not something you see on a daily basis. It's not something that you're used to. You might see it in movies or things of that nature, but when you know that this is a real person and these events happen in real time, in real life, it may affect you a little different. But that's why having the power and the spirit, having the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi with you is that much more important, because the Lord has done something to the men of the Lord. All right. And he's given us a level of understanding to where you can see something like this. It's gruesome. It's horrific. But then you go, you know what? That's the will of the Lord. Right. And the Lord is not a respecter of persons. And if you're not a part of his elect, then you're susceptible for a judgment like that to happen to you. Period. Point blank. There's really no other way to describe it. There's really no other way to say it. All right. Because there is no gray area with Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi. It's either you're his or you're not. And again, this pro-American, this super duper patriotic, let's get America back to where that's man. The Lord is against America. The Lord is against Babylon the Great. The Lord is against the nation of Edom. Okay? He's against the Edomites, which is you so-called white people. And at the end of the day, that's just truly what it is. And again, I'm rambling because I just, it's just one of those. This is one of those situations where, again, it's the sign of the times. And as the men of the Lord, we have an expectation for these things to heighten. This is not the end. Charlie Kirk wasn't the beginning, and he wasn't the end of it. These things, hey, Donald Trump was shot months ago. Right? He was shot not too long ago, and during one of his rallies. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? So at the end of the day, man, I just wanted to read a little bit of it. It says Charlie Kirk assassinated at university event in Utah. It says authorities said conservative activist Charlie Kirk was killed in a single shot in an apparent targeted attack during an outdoor event Wednesday at Utah Valley University. Kirk co-founded the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA and was a close ally of President Donald Trump. Right, and his associated with Donald Trump could have made this happen. This could be a psyop. It could be a FF operation. Right? Who knows? But again, these things have to play out the way they have to play out for the will of the Lord to be done. And we'll see how it plays out, right? This could be the beginning of a heightened level of so-called assassinations or, things of this nature to take place at these events. And we'll see. It says, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation, said Utah Governor Spencer Cox. I want to be very clear. This is a political assassination. Authorities are seeking a new person of interest in the shooting and have no one in custody as of late Wednesday, according to the law enforcement official familiar with the matter, who was not authorized to discuss the situation by name and spoke on condition of anonymity. All right. The shooting comes amid a spike in attacks on political figures in the United States across all parts of the ideological spectrum. Right. So, That ideological spectrum is what triggers it. It's what leads to these type of events to take place. Because at the end of the day, it's pitting one side versus the other. Democrats versus Republicans, conservatives versus nationals, conservatives versus liberals. This side versus that side. It could be blacks versus white. It could be anything. So that the ideological spectrum, especially now here in Babylon the Great, with again how I mentioned how far gone everything is. There's so many different ideologies and philosophies and ways of thinking, that it's so broad and it's so vast at this point that could trigger somebody to feel offended. Somebody like Charlie Kirk, that's a hill that he probably didn't think he would die on. But at the end of the day, that again, it goes to show the heightened level of the state, the heightened level, the state of America, the state of Babylon the Great, and how people are feeling right now in this country. A lot of these so-called white people that feel like they're losing their country. They need to get back to a certain position. And sometimes it comes at the cost of somebody's life, right? And what's ironic is, hold on one sec. Slakia, what's ironic about this man's position and his stance is a video that our brother sent. Let me go ahead and play it real quick. Check this out.
But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Okay.
But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is.
Okay. And the irony in his statements, he felt like, some lives may have to be risked in order to protect the Second Amendment. And whoever was the gunman in this assassination, felt like he wanted to exercise his right for the Second Amendment. Right now, he wasn't necessarily defending himself against some sort of threat, speaking about the gunman, but he maybe felt like he was defending his ideology, his way of life, his way of thinking. He may have, who knows? So is it ironic that this man said that, and then this is how he lost his life? It is what it is. But again, it makes me think. It makes me think. As these Edomites fight over this country, a land that's not theirs, that was stolen, that was taken by rape, robbery, and murder. Okay? And they want to talk about America and its principles and its core values, which are none of those values are rooted in anything righteous. They're damn sure not rooted in the Bible. Okay? All these presidents swearing in on the Bible and things of that nature, being complete hypocrites. Right? I find it ironic that that's how he gets gunned. He gets gunned down that way. But the state of this country, we have to, as men of the Lord, number one, we have to let these Edomites go ahead and have this shit. Y'all can have this shit. We're not in this fight. Y'all can fight over this country. Y'all can fight over this land. Y'all can fight over the ideologies and your philosophies, this, that, and the third. For us believers, the men of the Lord, the women who believe, those who are in this faith with truth and sincerity, our job is, we're in a spiritual fight. We're in a spiritual war, not a physical one, not one that's going to get fought on college campuses with a microphone and debates and all this different type of thing. This is a spiritual thing. Our job is to go out and preach the word, preach the message, preach the warning, exalt the names of Yahawashi, put on the spirit of repentance, and Yahawashi, we end up a part of the Lord's elect, because another event that's going to take place is Jacob's trouble, martial law, our temptation, where things are going to be very chaotic here in America, and you're going to need to be protected by Yahawashi, period, point blank. There's no way to escape it. There's no way to get around it. That's just the reality of the situation, right? And this man was assassinated because he wanted to defend his position here in America. They're fighting over this. Hey, y'all can have it. This is, you got it. All right? You got it. And this is a sign of the times that are upon us. Okay? And one of the first things that I thought of, because you got to figure this gunman felt the need to do this, whether it was a psyop, whether it was a setup, whether it was whatever, okay, it still speaks to the state of this nation and how it's divided and it's split. You know, even the MAGA movement itself, it's split. You know, people are not happy that these Trump supporters who was with them all the way for a long time and had their utmost respect and support have seen the first 7-8 months of his presidency and have said, nah, I ain't fucking with it. It's what the fuck is this nigga doing? You know? Which has created a divide, which is prophecy. Okay? And we love to see it. We love to hear it. Matthew 12:25 said, and Yahawashi knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay? If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So this, and it won't. That's the answer. It won't. This nation, America, Babylon the Great, will implode. It will fall from within. Okay, and then ultimately, Yahawashi will do the real number on this place. It's like and completely destroy it so it could never be inhabited again. That's the will of the Lord, and that's what it made me think of. Damn, this is really a house divided because of that ideological spectrum that we read in the article. Okay, it's so vast. There's so much going on. There's so many ways of thinking. People don't have really any real care or respect for each other's opinion, each other's, position. Okay. Let me go to 2 Timothy 3:1. Okay, this is a sign of time. It says 2 Timothy 3:1, know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And these are the last days, and perilous times shall come. And again, this is not the beginning. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. This thing is just getting hot. This thing is just mounting up. Okay. This is one of many so-called assassinations or events that's going to take place that's going to stir the pot and create more tension, and it's going to lead to all hell breaking loose. And that's what we want. That's what we want. We want the end of this place, period. We want the end of Babylon the Great. We want the end of Esau's rulership, and we want this place to be judged. And all those who support and love and to try to build up America, Babylon the Great, to be this place, may death and destruction come upon you, period, man. We want this place gone. All right? We want this place gone. All right? Something else I wanted to bring up, because look at the sign. Look at what we're in. Look. This happened today as well. All right? It says, New York Times, shooting suspect is dead after attack at Colorado high school. All right? You think stuff is by coincidence? No, it's not. A male suspect died of self-inflicted injuries after opening fire and critically injuring 2 students on the grounds of Evergreen High School in Evergreen, Colorado. Okay. A male student suspect of a shooting at Suburban High School in Colorado died of self-inflicted injuries, took his own life on Wednesday night, authorities said. The shooting took place just before 12:30 p.m. on the grounds of Evergreen High School in Evergreen, Colorado, about 30 minutes south of Denver. According to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, the suspect's death was confirmed Wednesday night by the sheriff's office. 2 other students were critically injured by gunfire and taken to an area hospital along with the suspect, as a spokesperson for the sheriff's office, Jackie Kelly, told reporters. One of the victims was in stable condition on Wednesday, transferred to another hospital, according to Lindsay, the spokesperson for St. Anthony's Hospital. The other victim was still in critical condition. So this is the state, this is the energy, this is the vibration of Babylon the Great right now. Okay, we've seen things like this come, they happen, things quiet down for a moment, and then it's back up. You know, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Like I said, it's up and down with this type of stuff. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travaileth upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You think Charlie Kirk was thinking that? You think he was thinking safety? Yeah, of course he was. You know how many times he's been on these college campuses and have done those debates and speakings and all these different type of things? He thought he was safe, thought it was all good. And then next thing you know, it's over. All right? Judgment from on high. Period. All right? There's no other way to slice it, man. You know? The moments and the days of feeling sorry for people and what's going on, that's not the times that we're in. That's not the times that we're in. I'm sorry, man. Matter of fact, I'm not sorry. Ecclesiastes 3 and start at 1. A time for everything. You see the caption? To everything there is a reason, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant, a time to pluck up. And a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill. Okay? A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down, a time to build. Okay? So the Lord has made it known that there's a season and a time for everything. There's a purpose for everything under the heavens. All right? And that's what it is. That's what it is, right? The issues of death belong to Yahawashi, not to us. So whoever the Lord take out in the fashion that he takes them out, hey, ain't got nothing to do with us. That's just the will of Yahawashi, period. Okay? Yeah, that's really all I wanted to mention, man. This situation, even something like this, you know, could lead to an escalation of restlessness, chaos in the streets. Something like this could turn into something much bigger. You know, they got the National Guard that they sent into Chicago. There's tension with that. You know, these YNs in Chicago saying that Trump about to find out why we call it Chirac. You think this is all by coincidence? No, this is all design. All right. So it is what it is. You might just think that this is just a situation to where, you know, somebody just disagreed with him and took it out. Or, you know, this could very well be something much bigger than that. Something much more structured and planned and an agenda behind it. Right. So, hey, we just got to let it play out. We got to let the Lord sort it out. But again, for us on the spiritual side, we got to sit back and let these people have this place. Let them fight over this nation. Let them fight over this land. Let them fight over this, something that's going to be completely destroyed and obliterated. We don't care. Y'all can have it. It's yours. Okay, we're looking towards salvation. We're looking towards the end of Babylon the Great, the end of Esau's rulership, the second coming of our Lord and Savior Yahawashi, salvation, that glory, new bodies, new covenant, everlasting life. That's what we're here for. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to make that point, report on this latest news. Hope you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, the elder bishop, the great millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.